What is up, YouTube? Uh, have this blanket on right now because my house is cold as shit. But anyways, I kind of wanted to just dive right into the topic today. And a question I get a lot is why my diet isn't working. So, there's a lot of fad diets out there right now, like keto, intermittent fasting. I wouldn't even call flexible dieting a diet because it's actually what you're supposed to be doing, but I will get into that later. So, the principle of any good diet starts with the amount of food, or we can say calories. So, the number of calories you're consuming per day. Now, take that number regardless of, any exercise or any activity that may burn may burn some of those calories, and we'll just take a number and start from there. So me personally, I stick between 2,000 to 2,100 calories per day, and I use the flexible dieting approach. Now, I know my activity level. I know, how intense my exercises are, and not approximately how many calories I'm burning per day, but a good estimate. Now, I've been doing this for years now, so I'm pretty fine tuned to how my body reacts to either moving up from 2,100 calories or going below that into a deficit. So we either have a maintenance level, a deficit, and then a surplus. So with any diet, you really need to know, you need to track the amount of calories that you're consuming per day. That's primarily the goal of any good diet. Now, the reason why my approach with flexible dieting works is because I can basically consume whatever I want as long as I know that I'm hitting 2,100 calories per day. Now, that's just not saying like I can eat 2,100 calories of Sour Patch Kids or ice cream or things I enjoy. So, the calories are based on eating a certain amount of calories in proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Now, this is determined through your goals. So for me, I like to stay lean per year, but I've already had established pretty good lean mass on my body, so I have a pretty good, percentage of muscle to fat ratio at the moment. So most of the year, I'm either maintaining or I'm in a deficit if I want to go into a tournament. Um, and occasionally I'll bulk too, just because I need it sometimes. I need to take that break. However, it works because regardless of when I'm eating, I know that I'm hitting 2,100 calories per day because I track. Now, let's take intermittent fasting or the ketogenic diet, for example. So, I think where people go wrong is they think that eating healthy foods or fasting for a certain amount of hours a day, and if let's say you're doing a ketogenic diet, so you have no carbohydrates. For me, if I did any of those, right? So let's take intermittent fasting for example. And let's say I fasted for 10 hours a day and I still ate the same amount of calories I knew I was going to eat anyway. So I stayed at 2,100 calories, but I only ate it in that 5 hour window when you're supposed to eat. I wouldn't see any changes in my body composition. Why is that? That's because, the timing and the scheduling of your eating habits don't really as matter. It doesn't matter as much as actually knowing the amount of foods that go in your body. So your body needs a certain amount of foods to either maintain or burn. And regardless of when you're eating, it doesn't really matter if I'm eating all my foods in 3 hours, 2,100 calories in 3 hours, as compared to spreading it out during the day. There's really a minimal effect when you're trying to look for a change in body composition. Now, let's take a look at ketogenic dieting. So, I'm eliminating carbs. That it could work, honestly. Entering a state of ketosis is when your body is burning more fats than any other macronutrient in your body to use for energy. It's very difficult to achieve that. It takes, weeks, months even to get to that state where your body's used to going into ketosis. However, it may seem effective at first because most carbohydrate based foods are more calorically dense. So just by eliminating carbs from your diet, you're eliminating calorically dense foods. So it's very tricky when you go into a diet and you're not tracking your foods. But how do I put this? There may be times when you're in a caloric deficit and you don't even know it because you're not eating carbs. However, your body needs carbs for a lot of different hormonal processes in your body and just to function as a healthy human being. So don't really recommend that diet. You're not really going to accomplish much without tracking the foods you're eating. It's as simple as that. That's the main priority that's going to come with dieting, and I can definitely recommend some good macro calculators so you can see how many foods you're supposed to be eating per day, and you can break that down into proteins, carbs, and fats. The app I personally use is MyFitnessPal. It's very easy to use. I can just type in a food, it pops up. I can pick the amounts of servings I ate that day, or I can even scan it if it even has a barcode. So that's important information if you want to learn how to track your foods. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to see any progress without actually knowing what you're eating and what you're doing. So that's my knowledge bomb for the day.